My name is David. I'm with Freyman. I'm jumping in here for our CMO, Magdalena, who unfortunately couldn't attend the meeting because of delayed flights. And my personal role at Freyman is very much on the network acquisition side. So I'm responsible for all the partnerships with venues and vendors. And actually, that's also the objection I have from the presentation today, that we find new partnerships here. I was given that title called Freyman is Disrupting the Digital Out-of-Home World, which I find put a quite high expectation on the presentation. So I don't know how much disruption the other speakers felt with Freyman yet. But nevertheless, I need to disappoint in advance that Freyman did not invent the next AI robot that puts on out-of-home campaigns, nor did we replace any classic out-of-home advertising in the market yet. However, it's hard to deny that Freyman has become a quite relevant digital out-of-home platform within the last 3 years. And in the next 15 minutes, I would like to give you some overview about Freyman, explain a little bit about our DNA, and maybe give some best practices and technology examples how we could fasten up onboarding of our clients with our technology. And to round it up afterwards, I would also like to show our open economic system approach and where a potential partner could opt in to find synergies together with Freyman. But let me start to give you a real quick intro into Freyman. Some of you might already have heard about Freyman, some not. So Freyman is a tech startup, or meanwhile even scale-up out of Berlin. It's actually founded in Frankfurt, but now we have our headquarters based in Berlin. There we have around 100 employees. 40% of the staff is really tech and operations. So in heart, we are a tech company and we develop several tech stacks alongside the customer and the customer experience. Other 40% is actual media sales. So we have media sales people, account manager who sit with all the big agencies, with all the big brands and doing media sales, which is the heart of our digital out-of-home platform today. We are an asset-light company, meaning we don't touch hardware. We have several tech stacks, including an own CMS, which is optional. We have our own SSP, it's also optional. And we have a DSP, as well as a whole media platform or library. We have 5 offices in Europe, including Berlin, London, Paris, Madrid, and Milan. And we are today expanding to the USA and APAC. Also important to know is that we are part of the Axel Springer universe. So Axel Springer is our majority investor, which gives us the NDA of being part of a media conglomerate. So media is very much in the center of our company, I would say. It also is reflected also in the company structure. So our advisory board is very much from Axel Springer. This is already mentioned. Today, Freyman has around 25,000 digital out-of-home screens in the market connected. We kind of spread into different segments. You see it here on the right side. Starting from healthcare, about hotel. We do, of course, retail media with Edeka. We are, since a couple of months, exclusive Burger King, King's Channel provider. We do a lot of gyms. We're coming from the co-working environment, so very much B2B, digital out of home, and petrol station, as also part of the retail media thing, is important to us. This slide should give you an overview of how we place ourselves in the market, so which is our mission. Our platform, our digital out-of-home platform, is divided into supply, so the whole network cooperation, and the demand, which is the whole media universe. And our mission is to bring content to all the semi-public spaces. And with content, it's not only paid content from the media owner. In the first sake, we want to become the Netflix for semi-public screens, so the Netflix for Edeka, the next Netflix for gyms or for co-working centers. And to do so, we developed, first of all, a user-friendly signage software, CMS, which, as mentioned before, is optional. We don't sell it. It's fully for free. And in many cases, we don't bring it into place and rather cooperate with other CMS provider. The signage also has some nice features with studio, etc. So I will show it in a bit. Then we have a free entertainment and ambient content library, which has many videos from Red Bull, other TV ambient provider, etc. We have the publisher stream, which is obviously coming from Axel Springer Universe. Then, most important for many locations, we have the revenue stream that we provide by putting the advertising between the media streams. And just recently announced, we also have an influencer and social media content platform where social media influencer can put their content, which they use on TikTok and Instagram, to put on all the screens that we have in the market. So that's the venues and vendors approach from Framen. On the other side, we have the media owner, the demand, which we try to address, and who we want to bring their paid content on the locations, obviously. So towards the media owner, we place ourselves and give a new relevant marketing channel or exclusive out-of-home inventory that they can put their advertising on. So we provide them with over 150 million impressions per week. We have those 25,000 digital screens out there. We have a targeted and relevant audience, which we can really precisely detect. So for example, if you're a fitness brand, then we can give you the fitness audience you need to put your advertising on. We have the contextual ad placement, which means we do not only have advertising, we also have relevant media content as a Netflix, being a Netflix, where we put the content in between, so the whole attention on the screen is much more higher than how it would be if it only would be advertising. And with the whole retail media, we also go deeper into conversion tracking, so we have the data coming from the POS systems, for example, from Edeka, which we can play back to the brands that advertise at the point of sale. To give you some ideas of automation tools and features that we developed in the last years, which helped tremendously to gain momentum and to attract new clients. First of all, I would like to point towards our website. So you can go to framen.com, and on the very first page you have this guide through. So you literally can sign up to the DSP that we have from the website without any credentials, etc., by just putting in your information, the geo-targeting you want to address, the time, you can upload your creatives, you can decide what segments you want to put your advertising in, and then you basically can run your advertising campaign from our website. So this helped in the last month a lot to attract new clients. Then for new venues, we also on the website have that forecasting tooling, which is super interesting, backed with data from the last 3 years. So you can put in your industry, you can put in the amount of locations you have, and you will receive a pretty precise information on how much revenue your venues can expect if they opt in with Framen. Another automation tool that we developed is the whole creative approval process. So one question which you always face when talking to venues like Edeka, will Rewe put their advertising or our competition put their advertising on our screens? So therefore we developed that two-factor approval process. So first of all, we have an opt-in team, operations, that have a look at all the creatives to filter out everything which is not ideal for the venues. This process also will be automated soon by AI. In the next step, they have access to the platform where they actually can review all the advertising they receive. And here you see it on the right side. You see it in location, and then you can, with thumbs up or thumbs down, decide whether you want to show it in your playlist or not. So very much automated. Same level of automation we put in the reports and payouts. So that's also with Axel Springer and SAP, so it's all automated. You put once your bank information, and then all the digital out-of-home revenues that are generated for your locations are dedicated to all the several locations and paid out after each month. So you don't need to invoice, etc. It's just one setup, and then it runs how long you want. Another feature which helped us to bring out our software is content. So we have those 3 pillars of content that I showed before. One pillar is the whole infotainment or publisher content. So there we have the Welt, Bild, also Politico, Business Insider. We have today around 180 publishers onboarded on our platform. For each country, you have also local publisher content that you can opt in. Then we have ambient and entertainment. That was very much developed for the Burger King Kings channel, who wanted to have video MTV style for their millennial audience. So you have cool sports videos, surfer, etc., that they want to show as kind of an in-store experience to also have their clients stay longer in their restaurants. And then the recently published creator and influencer tool, where we have a direct connect to TikTok, and all the influencer can extend their social media reach on our out-of-home screens. And last but not least, we also have features like the studio, which is native integrated canvas, kind of Photoshop light, so all the locations can really quickly create their own content if needed. The second point of the presentation is really about the open ecosystem and the partnerships that we are also here for. We have a very much agnostic value chain approach, where we try to add value to all stage until the advertising cell, where our partner can opt in. So if you start from the left, we can serve legacy hardware, old non-smartware hardware, with our frame and TV box. So if there's old hardware in the market, they can just take the HDMI smart TV boxes, put it in, and have access to all the content that I showed before. If there's smart hardware, they could use our light CMS. If, as in most cases, there's already a third-party CMS, we have an open media API or SSP that could be opt-in. If there's already an SSP connected, we have our own DSP or ads manager that the SSP could connect to and leverage our demand. And on that basis, we have the frame and sales force, the media sales colleagues that taking care for the consultation in relationship to all the brands and agencies. So what would you get out of our ecosystem if you opt in our API, for example? As mentioned, we have a 4-pillar process of how we get demand on our platform, so paid media demand. First of all, we have our direct sales force. That's not only frame and media salespeople, but also Axel Springer, who usually would sell the advertising space in print media. Then we have all the programmatic connect to other SSPs and DSPs that you could leverage from by only connecting our platform. We have CTV player connected to our platform, so that's especially relevant in the US. In the US, we have super high demand, open demand from CTV, which is running on our out-of-home screens. And then we have framework contracts to all the big agencies in Europe. Yeah. And therefore, you will get all our brand partnerships at once. Just one last slide. I wanted to show how easy it would be for you if you, for example, operate a CMS to connect to our platform. There's an API documentary on our website, so you can go to frame.com/API. There's all the code that you need, and you basically could opt in without further development. So that's me. If you want to connect on LinkedIn, feel free. All right.
David, thanks a lot, and we still have. Thank you for the first time. We still have a few minutes, so let's a little bit discuss about how it all started, because you're doing things different, and not by the nature of disrupting, but just because you believe you need a different approach to that. So, for example, the vast majority of screens are consumer screens, right, which are just connected with an HDMI stick, or you even have, I think, a special brand of consumer screens where you have like a smart app on it, right? Mm-hmm. How is the adoption of that? Is it typical for hotels, for fitness gyms, or so? So how many professional screens are currently used, and what is the general, the vast majority of smart screens?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's maybe interesting to hear where Frame is coming from. So Frame is coming from the B2C environment. So in the beginning, there was one app for consumer, for at home. So they could share their vacation videos and pictures on their home screen.
That's where the name is coming from, right?
That's where the name is coming from, actually. Then they went to Höhle der Löwen, and they invested. And then the very first investor was WeWork. And WeWork said, we need a CMS provider where we also could put our paid advertising from our tenants on it. So that's where the app started to be a B2B app. And today, it's very different. Each industry has their different ideas and goals. So if you go to the gym environment, they really using the Frame TV box, and they want to show media. So if you're on the treadmill, you probably want to have rather 40 minutes of entertainment than just advertising. And in other industries like retail media, in the grocery store, you can really put high traffic advertising on it. And there we are connected via API to existing players, because most of the grocery stores, they already have some vendors in place.
Professional screens, yeah. But what really sets you apart is that you're asset light, so you're not investing in screen networks and everything. You're just providing the tech stack and the sales environment around that, right? That's
correct. Right. Yeah. We are very agnostic, so the value chain that I showed, whatever is already existing and whatever the objectives we can opt in. And in the end, it's about the paid media and the content that we can provide. And that's our goal, to put it on. Yeah. Yeah.
David, you briefly mentioned in North America you're doing also connected TV. On the first look, it's like, oh, it's a different world. But connected TV and digital home are, at least from the advertiser's perspective, are really growing together, right? Yeah. You address someone in the store, and then because you have connected TV, you can follow up and try to send him an advertisement when he's watching TV at home, or how does it work?
Yeah. So yeah, for us, it's really merging digital home and CTV. CTV demand is similar programmatic as digital home today, and there's so much open demand in the US for CTV, which usually would run on CNN, whatever, that we can extend to other screens. So that's all about reach and not about the target audience.
So you don't know who is in front of the screen in the store and then target at home. It's just about reach. It's just about
reach.
Okay. So that's how. But as connected TV, you can address every display separately. Obviously, there are service providers collecting data, so you know who's typically which neighborhood and everything the screen is.
Correct. Digital home is laser targeted, and that's also very relevant for our clients. And CTV is just about the reach. The CPMs are also lower. And you have so much traffic. So for example, on our platform, we have, I don't know, maybe 100 campaigns per week-ish. CTV, you can X10 or something, or X20.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you have super high demand.
Because it's one-to-one versus one-to-many. That's basically what it is.
Correct.
What it is. Okay. You're also working together with social media influencer, and you showed a few things already. And I think it's quite interesting. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit. You know how you're managing to get a typical YouTube campaign or TikTok campaign on screens in gyms, or I heard you have a very successful cooperation with home improvement, home improvement YouTubers or so, who are showing their videos in DIY stores, right?
Yeah. So today it's not about product placement, so we try to avoid influencer that already do promotion on their channels. So it's rather about high-value content, which should kind of info entertainment rather. So in a grocery store, you might have a chef who cooks some dinner, and then the customer should get an idea of what he could cook.
Entertainment, inspiration, more.
That's rather the point. Yeah.
And you're using a lot of AI. I mean, one of the big advantages, being of Axel Springer, they have a huge contract with OpenAI and everything. So you are one of the few can really use it legally. So I know you're also using AI, for example, for translating news, right? Quite automatically.
Correct.
Because you are now active in so many countries. So you're doing this already highly automated?
That's automated. Translating is, rather an easy task, but later my colleague has a slot here, will explain a little bit more. And we also have the control of the creatives, the content.
DCO, right? The dynamic content optimization.
Correct. So the creative approval process now can be automated by already detecting on what is on it. So if it's alcohol or tobacco, we already can filter it by AI, for example. So there are many use cases that we can put on.
Cool. So you started in Germany. You had open office in some major markets. You just mentioned Italy is the latest market. Spain, right? Spain, I think it's quite high on the agenda.
Yeah. So today, Spain, Italy, Paris, London already since a few years. Then we now founded subsidiary in US, in APAC, and in India.
Wow. Also Asia. That's quite new, huh? But with CTV or also with digital out of home?
CTV is most relevant in
the US.
In the US. North America, also South America. Germany is coming, so we have a cooperation which is not
announced yet.
In Asia, it's not so much open demand, so there you have to have the relationship to all the agencies, etc. It's digital out of home.
I mean, looking at your established markets like Germany or so, where you're already longer in the market and where you're better known. Are you opening up the market to new advertisers, or do you take away share from existing digital home ones, or how is your different approach and your different content offering? How is it taken by the market?
So how we try to see it is that we are not competing against other out-of-home. We don't competing against Ströer. We try to get more from other buckets like social media, advertising, online advertising, mobile, etc. So we think or TV, of course. So there are much bigger budgets today spent, and those channels are getting less and less relevant. And digital out-of-home is growing a lot, and we try to get those buckets.
That's really cool, really cool. I must say, I've been to your office in Berlin, and it's quite fascinating how different it feels. It feels still like a startup, and it's not many levels, management levels or so. Everyone is just very active and working on developing new solutions, right?
Correct. We still have the highest dog frequency probably in Germany, so you have dogs running around, many people. And being a startup which is now scaling, you see new faces every day. That's what is funniest to me. Always when I go to the office, there are new faces I need to introduce myself to, because we are hiring, so it's really...
And very international, right? I mean, most people don't even speak German. I remember that's
almost none. I'm the only German speaker probably around.
Okay, fantastic. Well, David, thanks a lot. We have two more sessions later today with you and with your colleagues. So thanks for jumping in. And thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.